the people who we're asking to teach our children life aren't really paid enough to live. How does that make any sense? I watched a video today of a teacher talking about her kids' dreams, and I thought it explained our situation perfectly. She said she'd been teaching for decades now, and she's always done this thing with her software students where she asks them to write down their biggest dreams for her at the start of the class so she can get to know them. And, 20, 30 years ago, all the kids would have, their various dreams. Oh, I want to direct a symphony, or I want to be an astronaut, or whatever it may be a doctor, I want to get signed to the Montreal Canadiens and play in the NHL. And now, apparently all of the kids, and she had these little papers, she was reading them in the video, and she was saying, won the lottery for $3 billion, or inherited $200 million, won the lottery, influencer, stuff like this. Easy, quick money is what the kids these days want. And of course you can't blame them, because now nobody really has a job or career because they want it. They have a job or a career because they need to. And people say, if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life. What jobs out there are there really to love? And do you love them after 10, 20 years? The careers in education, like the teachers, like we're talking about, the ones that are supposed to be educating the youth and preparing them for the world, they're paid some of the worst of all. How does that make any sense? That the people who we're asking to teach our children life aren't really paid enough to live. Because teaching isn't teaching anymore. Teaching is babysitting. We don't really have any competent teachers to learn from. They're just rule followers, that they open a book and they read from it, and they expect you to open the book and to read from it and then just regurgitate what you learned for the class. And our parents didn't even realize this, didn't realize how bad the education was. Maybe because they went through the same system and it's just what they were used to. Or maybe they didn't have a better alternative. Even if our parents did prepare us for the world that they came from, it wouldn't be the same world today. It seems like all the people who are doing the best are the ones who came from money, which is true. We need a complete societal restructuring, where we're getting to the point where the only real option is just to move somewhere with a super low cost of living, learn a trade or a skill that can get you by in that low cost of living place, build or buy a really small home, and just live comfortably, happily, with less. This is the mindset shift that we need to be having as young people as we grow up. We can't look at these older generations as an example. They're not an example. They were broken by the system before we even came around, and they just decided to perpetuate it onto us. They didn't realize any of the flaws in how things were being done, or maybe they did, but they didn't do anything about it. So now we have a broken education system, we have a broken economy, and we have a broken way of life. And we don't know where to go and how to get out. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about, how you plan on navigating this. But for me, it's going to be going somewhere small, living easy. And obviously that sucks, because that means that I won't have the institutional power, that I won't have the economic power to really challenge, the system that I hate. But it means that I won't be contributing to it. And as far as challenging the system that I hate, hopefully these videos will do enough. Because I think people need to talk a lot more about this. We don't have enough solutions coming. We don't have enough power coming out of this generation. We don't have enough voice coming out of this generation. You see in places like, obviously in Nepal, they had a Gen Z revolution last year, and they toppled the government. Pretty sick. But there's no plan for after the government was toppled, and they'll just reinstate a new government and continue on the way that they are. I promise you the cycle will continue, the pattern will continue until the next time they have to have a revolution. It'll be on everybody's mind for the next couple of years, and then The politics will start to get wavy, and the politicians will start their sales tactics, and everything will be obfuscated, everything will be an illusion, and all of a sudden they'll end up with the same, corrupt power system that they had before. And maybe it'll be in their DNA now to revolt again, but it's not like they had a revolution into something more sustainable. They just had a revolution over the corruption. We need to talk now about moving forward. We need to delete a lot of things, we need to remove a lot of things, but we also need to build. And it's tough to say stuff like that because everybody will say, oh well, who's gonna lead it? You get into like cult mentality or monarchy or tribalism where somebody, you associate a figurehead with a movement. We don't need a figurehead. We're all feeling this way. We just need to create a platform to express that in actual daily life. I wish there was just one country around that was trying to do this. Some of the Norse countries, the more socialist countries, they have a lot of things right, I think. And I'm no socialist and I'm no communist. I'm just a human being who wants this world to work. And I don't understand why we're complicit with the politicians that we elect and the systems that we erect. I don't know why we're complicit with their failure, and I don't know why we don't talk about their failure. And maybe it's because it's taboo and it's censored, but we need to come to terms with talking about it. So please, if you haven't started talking about it with your friends and family, do engage with them. Do share this video if you think it explains it at least a little bit well. I'll continue to talk more about this in the future. I really appreciate you watching, and hopefully you can live a good life. See ya.